What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the BallGame podcast. I am the innocent bystander, Matt Sullivan.
I'm Trunks.
I'm Ortiz. I'm Chris.
So we have 4/5 of the podcast today. Not quite full yet, but Trunkali, welcome back as well. So today we're going to be talking about a little bit more of fantasy football. Very excited as the season comes very close, and you're probably getting close to the start of your drafts. If not, some of you may be drafting already, which it feels a little bit too early for that. But a lot of drafts will be coming very soon. I know we didn't plan our BTB one yet, did we?
No.
So I don't exactly know when any of my drafts are, but I'd prefer to keep them as late as possible because in case of injuries or anything like that. But yeah, so we're here to give you guys one player from every team in the NFL that we feel you should be targeting in all of your fantasy football drafts. So yes, obviously all of us will have some overlap here as we're probably going to be picking the same guy sometimes. But yeah, these are guys that you're definitely going to want to target in your drafts. And I think that these guys will help you potentially win a fantasy football championship. Has everyone at this table won a fantasy football championship?
Yes.
No, I've never won.
Damn it.
Yeah. My year, though.
Has Dean ever won one? I don't think so.
Yeah, Dean's won a fantasy championship. It's only me. I'm the only one.
Chris, this is your year, man.
This is the one.
This is the year.
I've done probably 150 mock drafts. I've done the most mock drafts I've ever. I know everyone's ADP like the back of my fucking hand.
Yeah, I've done a lot of mock
But the thing is, so I'm in 3 leagues. One of them is a 10-man league. I'm drafting pick 9. That one I don't even have to mock for because any 10-man league, you're going to have a stacked team. I don't really fucking care. The other 2, I'm drafting 6 and I'm drafting 7. So all my mock drafts I'm doing from the same spot pretty much. Like I'm only drafting from those 2 spots.
Do you mess around with different draft strategies in your mocks?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna have a perfect team. I'm gonna leave both like my drafts with. I'm gonna say, wow, my team's exactly how I want it to be because I know, for the most part, how the draft's gonna go. But people draft randomly though; it doesn't just go according to like the sleeper.
I was about to say, I feel usually the mock drafts are never what
Never.
But sleeper does randomize it though. Like sometimes dudes will go like way ahead of their ADP,
or
like a dude will be like on their rankings, a dude will be like the 5th receiver on the board, and he'll get drafted ahead of the other 4 guys.
Yeah, like I've seen
they do
Amon-Ra get drafted like 7th overall in fucking sleeper mock drafts. Amon-Ra St. Brown. But yeah, it's just it definitely is a decent like mock drafting system there, but I prefer to do like live mock drafts with like other people because that definitely helps the most because obviously you get to see what other people are thinking and stuff like that. So if you could do that, obviously try to be doing as many mock drafts as possible with some people especially. But Sleeper has a super dope thing where like it's just a bunch of randomized AIs drafting against you, and I've seen some players drop like 10 to 15 spots below their ADPs too in those. So some of it is semi-realistic. But you know, you can never quite mimic the atmosphere of a fantasy football draft. Hopefully we get together and wear some suits this year, do a nice big
doesn't have to be hopefully, we could just do it.
No, I want to do it. It'd be fun. Instead of like doing like the online drafts, I want to do an offline draft where we all just
I want to do one of those too.
I want to do an offline draft and then you just fill out the team from there. I would host it. I don't even care.
Do it.
I'm down. I'm definitely down. Have a little backyard party.
We could do it like both. Like we could do it online, but also fill out the board. So then,
well, yeah, we would have to do it online.
Yeah. So then whoever the commissioner doesn't have to do that.
It's a pain in the ass, but like
that's like
it is a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
but like, we'll do a little draft.
Keep your phone in your hand.
We'll do a little draft in person together. But yeah, anyways, please leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us on all of our socials. Again, I will tell you at the end of this podcast, as I usually do. But without further ado, I guess we could get right into everything. So we want to go division by division. We'll break it down that way. But what division do we want to start with? That's the real question here.
It's a great question.
Do we want to start with the NFC West?
Sure.
If you want.
Let's start with the NFC
Why not?
West. So we'll go with the first team, the Arizona Cardinals. And my pick was Hollywood Brown. He's the 29th wide receiver off the board with the current ADP. By the way, we are using Sleeper's rankings for this. Shout out Sleeper. Check your email. So wide receiver 29, 69.6 ADP. So it's quite simple for Hollywood Brown. He's the number one target in offense. I don't care who your quarterback is going to be. Kyler Murray most likely will be getting healthy at some point, I would assume, this season. And if he is, all the better for Hollywood. But being the number one target in an offense in what, the middle to late part of the 6th round, I mean, how many guys are going to be able to get hyper targeted like that in that range? So I think Hollywood Brown's a big time sleeper, especially at his current ADP. Good wide receiver 3.
Mm-hmm.
So Hollywood Brown this past season, he missed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He missed 5 games, but when he did play, he had 3 games with 6 or less targets. Every other game he had more than 6 targets. So even with Hop there, he was getting 8 to 9 targets a game. When Hop wasn't there, he had to finish as wide receiver 3, wide receiver 11, wide receiver 10. It's pretty simple. Draft Hollywood Brown.
Yeah, I was going to say, without Hop, he averages over 8 targets a game and 16 fantasy points per game. He's absolutely going to have a big season this year if he's healthy. Who do you guys got?
All right, so I'm going to be a little different here. I don't have Hollywood Brown. Now, I know he is hurt right now, but based on where he's getting drafted, I would say to add Kyler Murray to your team. He's getting drafted as the 24th quarterback, and that's right in between guys like Derek Carr and CJ Stroud. You could draft another quarterback earlier on and just have Kyler Murray there at the end of your bench, say when he gets healthy. End of the season, maybe he's playing, maybe the Cardinals are all right, and he plays. Because when he's healthy, he puts up numbers as a quarterback who can rush the ball, do all that good stuff, and he'll get you some dubs possibly. So I think you should add Kyler Murray to your team.
When is he being drafted?
So he's
What's
getting
his current
drafted.
ADP?
His ADP in general is 167.
167.
That's
So
pretty low.
He's in like the 15th round.
Yes.
He's one of the last picks of a draft.
Yeah.
Technically.
So at that point, you might as well just take the shot on him, in my opinion.
I mean, hi, Dean.
You know?
I see that you're in the chat over there, buddy.
Dean said he's not wasting a roster spot on that little man.
Oh, my God.
That little man.
He said it in 2 separate texts. Little man. All right, Ortiz, do you have someone different?
I do not. I also went with Hollywood Brown for my option. I mean, you said a lot. He's very good wide receiver 2 potential on your team, and you're drafting him in a position where he can be your flex. So it's always good upside when someone who could be your flex could also be a wide receiver 1 in certain weeks.
Yeah, just an honorable mention here. James Conner's spot is pretty damn low as well. I was kind of debating going back and forth between the two of them because Conner's obviously going to be a 3-down back for this team. The coaches have already expressed that as well. I'm not saying that his efficiency is going to be crazy, but we always know he gets goal line work and that he gets pass catching work as well. And they're going to need him to be catching some passes too. So
he's
James
going
Conner,
as the running back 25.
Yeah.
In games without Kyler Murray over the past 2 seasons, he would have been the running back 1 during that time span.
Yep.
So like when Kyler Murray's not playing, he produces. So
if you look at him down the stretch of last season, it was 20 pieces almost every single week. So
they're going in the same range too, Hollywood Brown and James Conner. So in that, what is that, like the 6th round, middle of the 6th round, depending on what you need. If you need a receiver, take Hollywood there. If you need a running back, James Conner's definitely a guy you should look into drafting.
Those are going to be the 3rd players for that position on your team, most likely. Like that's as good of a value as you could get at that point. So, all right, we'll move on to the next team. We'll go with the Los Angeles Rams. So, Ortiz, who would you pick for the Los Angeles Rams?
For the Rams, I actually have Cam Akers for the spot. I didn't write down his ADP next to him because I'm an asshole, but it's pretty low. And with Cam Akers, if you look at his stats, when he was getting over 70% of the snaps for the Rams, he was a top end running back in the league. It only happened a few games last season. But for those few games, he was at, I think, an average of running back 7, which is pretty good for a guy who's being drafted very late in this draft.
So for the breakdown, anytime he had over 70% of the snaps, he's RB8, RB21, RB1, RB14, and RB11 in those weeks that he got 70% or more of the snaps.
Hopefully the Rams just see that and pretty much run him into the ground because that's what all teams do with running backs. nowadays.
And then don't pay him.
Yeah.
And then don't pay him, pretty much. Who you got, Trunks?
I'm going with the simple pick here. I'm going with Cooper Kupp. He's got an ADP on Sleeper of 6, and he has wide receiver 1 upside. I think it's an obvious pick. Whenever you have the chance to draft Cooper Kupp, you draft Cooper Kupp. Yes, he was hurt last season, but when he was playing weekly, he was the wide receiver 2, 5, 22, put up 16 points. Wide receiver 5, 15, 8, 3. He's a target machine, putting up 15, 14, 6, 19, 10, 8, 12, and 9. All those weeks he's healthy. He's obviously the number 1 there.
So
Matthew Stafford.
it doesn't change.
Isn't Cooper Kupp hurt
that
at
he
this
has
very
a
moment?
hamstring injury.
I don't think it does.
He's gonna be shut down for probably the entirety of camp, which cool.
It's fine.
Um,
Obviously, we'll see what it looks like as the season comes closer. But as of right now, he's someone that I would target.
I get a little scared of that.
Preseason hamstring injuries always concern
They
me.
linger,
But
man.
like you said, that's a guy who his floor is 16 fantasy points. Like you
Yeah,
said, when he was
that's a
healthy
bad
last
week
year,
for him.
that was his bad week. Yeah, I had him last year. So when he was playing, I mean, it was the automatic wide receiver 5 at minimum on the week, pretty much. Like he's a cheat code. He's a cheat code.
Yeah.
But I have Tyler Higbee. He's
So do
going
I.
as a tight end 16. He finished last year as a tight end 6. He had weeks last year, tight end 5, tight end 8. He had 5 weeks last year where he was a top 10 tight end. Like, I'll take that at that point in the draft. His ADP is 131. So you're getting him at the end of the draft, second to last round, whatever it is. So I'd take the chance on him there.
Yeah, he's getting drafted. I believe it is in the middle of the 11th round at the current moment, and he's the tight end 16. Tight end 16 after being tight end 6 last year. I'm surprised you didn't pick a guy that you continuously hype up in Van Jefferson. Especially that he's a year removed from his ACL now. I think he's gonna have a big season, but I also picked Tyler Higbee. Yeah. I mean, look, to have the tight end 16 in the 11th, and a guy that has top 10 tight end upside, and I wrote here, he's not going to be dominant. He's not a Kelsey. He's not Mark Andrews, not a George Kittle. He's not going to have those games where he has 25 plus. But especially now with the Cooper Kupp injury, I fear a little bit for the weapons in that area. Matthew Stafford's going to have to target someone. He has to target somebody. So, I mean, Tyler Higbee might get hyper-targeted a little bit underneath there, and I think that could turn into a top 7 or 8 tight end finish this season. And in the 12th round, it doesn't get much better than that. So, yeah, but all right, next up, let's see who we got here. The 49ers. I'll start. I copped out. I didn't pick anybody because I don't love where these guys are being drafted. McCaff, obviously, his ADP is 2.0 probably, if not a little bit higher, 1.8 maybe. I'm not even looking at it because I can't. 2.7, sorry.
It's okay though. This is something that we're doing, that you would draft these players where they're getting drafted. Christian McCaffrey, I would draft him too.
I would definitely
he's who I
draft
picked.
McCaff where he's at.
It's a cop-out answer, but I'd pick Christian McCaffrey. You know?
I have Brandon Ayuk.
Ayuk's cool where he is too.
He's going in that same range as Hollywood Brown. He's one spot ahead of him on Sleeper, ADP of 68.1 in that 6th round. It's just those two guys in particular, the guys in front of them in terms of ADP, Michael Pittman, Chris Godwin, Christian Watson, even Jerry Jeudy. I'm drafting Ayuk and Hollywood Brown before all of those guys. So I think there's value in that. Like you said, though, Brandon Ayuk isn't a guy I'm targeting and saying I must leave every draft with, but if I had to pick one, there's some value there. You know, he's a guy who we think could potentially be a wide receiver 1. So you're getting a potential top 12 fantasy wide receiver, a guy with that type of upside in the 6th round. So it's worth the flyer.
It's tough for me because I've been hyping up Ayuk this whole offseason, and I love Brandon Ayuk, but it's
a little bit too high.
Many mouths
I've been picking him for a lot of things that we've been doing, like sleepers and all that stuff.
I love
He's getting
him,
drafted too high though.
but there's so many. If we were in a best ball league, I'm absolutely taking 49ers on my team, but we're not. So it's tough because who's going to have the big week? I'm sorry, but Brock Purdy's not going to be able to keep every single guy afloat, like Debo, Kittle, Ayuk, and then McCaffrey. Like, we're talking about 4 guys that are probably going to be high volume targets at different points in the season. So I don't know. Someone might get injured, and I hope not. I don't want to see any injuries, but like, it's tough. It's definitely difficult. Debo's the safest one in my opinion when everyone's healthy. McCaff obviously notwithstanding, but yeah, who do you have, Ortiz?
I actually did go with Debo.
There you go.
He didn't have the best season last year, obviously, but he went into this season saying he promises us that he's going to have a really good season. And Debo seems like a very trustworthy man.
Do you see what Kyle Shanahan said about him? He said Debo's in the best shape of his life. And then he proceeded to say, I've never seen a man send me so many shirtless pictures. And then described how good Debo Samuel looks. And it was, they have like a bromance. So, yeah.
I mean, it's like you said, there's a lot of mouths to feed on that team. And it all comes down to health at the end of the day. But hopefully Debo could stay healthy and prove he's a game changer, which we all know he is.
Yeah. I think the one guy that, like, I'm kind of scared of drafting the most is probably George Kittle from that group. I
agree. I'd rather take any of the other tight ends that are in that area. In that draft position, I'd rather take any of the other guys.
I don't know if I'd love Hawk, but I don't know if I love Hawk for sure. But
I think I do, especially with Adam Thielen not being there anymore.
But yeah, I don't know. All right, next up, and I believe last up in this division, the Seattle Seahawks.
I have
Trunks. Go ahead.
Geno Smith. He's getting drafted at 119. And last season, he was quarterback 5. There we go. I don't know. I don't understand why he's getting drafted so low because his team only got better this offseason. He has more weapons. I think it's very possible for him to – I don't think he's going to end up as the quarterback 5, but he's getting drafted as the quarterback 15 in between Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson. And I just think it's way too low for him. So – I feel like he's someone you should draft.
I also have a Geno Smith for that one. Just it's hard not to look at his ADP and realize this man was the QB5 last year, and as you said, his team's only gotten better. It's only right to draft him around the range where he was drafted on QB5.
What do you have? You go ahead.
So I have Zach Charbonnet, currently the RB 38. And his average draft position is 105.0. Currently, Kenneth Walker, he actually just returned to practice. Zach Charbonnet did. They were both injured for a little while. And at first, they were saying that Zach Charbonnet would be out indefinitely, which sounded terrifying to me. But then he was back literally days after. Ken Walker's still not at practice currently. And that concerns me a little bit because Ken Walker was dealing with some injuries last season as well. And Seattle Seahawks running backs overall just have terrible history of injuries. They can't stay lucky over there, but Zach Charbonnet seems like he was set up for a role that he was going to take over a lot of the pass catching duty. And obviously in an offense where in general, in fantasy football, if you could take over pass catching opportunities in a backfield, that automatically gives you some sort of a basis and foundation for fantasy production. Plus, he's a bigger back than Kenneth Walker, so who's to say he doesn't take goal line as well? And he's a very talented running back, second-round pick. So, draft capital's there as well.
So, for the Seattle Seahawks, I have the entire team.
Wow.
That's fair.
I think everyone is being undervalued. You guys talked about Geno. You talked about Zach Charbonnet. I think even Ken Walker's a little bit undervalued. I think Ken Walker was great last year. Guy is he's just a football player. Like, that man is a running back. He's not a running back. He's a running back. Like, that man is he's going to put up yards. He's going to find the end zone. Tyler Lockett is being severely
that was
undervalued.
another one that I was thinking about.
Tyler Lockett's going to be a top 15 wide receiver. He is every single year. And where is Tyler Lockett going? Late.
6th round, 7th round.
ADP 72.
Yep.
After Mike Williams, after Hollywood Brown, Brandon Ayuk, all those guys.
Yep.
DK Metcalf. I talked about DK Metcalf already. I think DK Metcalf could be a top 10 wide receiver. He's going in the middle of the 3rd round. He's going behind a Devontae Smith, T. Higgins, guys who I think are the wide receiver 2 on their team. DK Metcalf can be the wide receiver 1 on his team. And then JSN. Where's JSN?
I was about to say, does JSN worry you for Tyler Lockett at all? Or even DK?
I think JSN just makes those 2 guys their lives easier. Okay. I think JSN's going to be the middle of the field guy. Like, he's going to be primarily in the slot. Obviously, JSN is more than a slot receiver, but on this team, he's going to be in the slot, and that allows those 2 elite outside threats to see more single coverage than they've ever seen in their lives.
Fair, yeah.
So I think everyone's going to eat. I think Geno's going to eat. I think the running backs are going to eat. This could be a top 5 offense in the
I
NFL.
agree.
So you want me personally, like I want to draft all of these guys. I want to have a share in all of them.
In different leagues. Nice. Yeah. No, I definitely understand that. All right. So moving on from the NFC West,
Before, like, you think of how the guys on the 49ers are being valued. Like, we all think they're too high, but they're valued like that because we know the 49ers offense will probably be a top 5 offense in the NFL. It's the same thing in Seattle, I feel like.
Guys
Yeah,
are
like
just too low.
there is a lot of mouths to feed, but when you're going to be a top 5 offense, which I really do believe they're going to be a top 5 offense. I think they have weapons. I think the O-line's improving. So when you have that, you want to draft those guys because, yeah, they might not be as consistent as a team with less options and less weapons, but those guys are going to have weeks at different times.
Top 5 is high praise. Top 5 is high praise. I could see
They're
the
elite.
outcome.
They're
I could see
elite.
the outcome. That team is going to be really good this year. It's
They're
a sleeper
elite.
team, honestly. All right, next up, we'll jump to the NFC South, and we'll start with one of Chris's favorite teams now. We'll start with the Atlanta Falcons. Chris, do you want to start us off and pick your guy from the Atlanta Falcons?
So, like, I'm drafting Bijan in every league.
Yeah.
I would draft Bijan as high as pick 3. I would draft him after Jettas and McCaffrey are off the board. That's how high I would draft him. So Bijan, I think he's going to be the number 1 overall player in all fantasy football. So I think wherever you're drafting him, 6, 7, 8, 9. What is the ADP right now? 8.9. So you're getting him at like 8 or 9. He's a running back 3. I think you're getting a steal.
Yeah.
But other than Bijan, it's obviously Drake London.
Okay.
Drake London going in the 5th round. That's a guy I'm targeting in every 5th round of every single draft I do. He saw over a 20% target share. You expect, hopefully, Desmond Ridder to be better than he was last year. But a guy who's just going to see that many targets is only going to put up more and more numbers. So
I picked Drake London as well. But I will say, if you have the conviction that Bijan's going to be the number 1 overall player in fantasy, why not take him 1 overall?
Well, I don't have the first pick in any league, so I don't have that
Okay.
problem.
Fair. That's fair.
I don't want to get violated by my friends.
I wouldn't violate you. I have him as the RB2.
Like, I really do think I would take him over Justin Jefferson. Like, McCaffrey's the only one where I would really question it because, bro, how often do guys repeat as the number 1 wide receiver? Never.
I have a completely unrelated question. This was a good question that I saw on Twitter. In a dynasty football league, Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase, who's your number 1 overall pick?
I said Justin Jefferson. We talked about this.
I say Chase, personally.
We
I
spoke
think
about
Justin
this.
Jefferson is better, but I'd rather have I don't know if I'd rather have Jamar Chase. I just think he has more upside because he has Joe Burrow on his team.
I was about to say I can't guarantee Justin Jefferson's future quarterback situation. Yeah. Kirk will be there for probably another year or 2, but yeah, I don't know. I
just think it doesn't even matter. I think Justin Jefferson's so good. He's quarterback proof.
Yeah. I think Jamar Chase is just
bro. I don't know. We might be literally watching the greatest receiver to ever play football. Like, he's that good. What is he going into his 4th year now? Like, through his
he also had quite a few duds last season too, though. But Jamar Chase,
but he was still by far the best wide receiver in football.
Yeah,
like by far. It wasn't even a
close.
question.
It's close.
From last year, who had the best season? Not even fantasy, just football wise. Who had the best season as a receiver? It wasn't close. Justin Jefferson was clearly the best receiver in football last year.
Mm-hmm.
Season-wise, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, his few duds were duds, but he had more weeks of being a top 3 wide receiver in the NFL than he had dud weeks.
Yes, agreed. Anyways, who'd you guys pick for the Falcons?
I picked Kyle Pitts. He's getting drafted as the tight end 6, and his ADP in general is 58. I feel like if you're someone who likes to take your tight end early, he's someone that you should take a look at because he's getting drafted after those guys such as Mark Andrews, Hawkinson, Kittle, Darren Waller, and he's on a team where he has a quarterback that's in their 2nd year. I'm hoping that takes a step forward and he's able to have a good year. Like people predicted, he'd have a really great career. I think he's gonna start entering that those years of his prime and start putting up numbers.
It pisses me off so much that they've wasted a few years of his career now because like coming out, like I dead ass thought this man was going to be the greatest tight end to ever play football.
Mhm.
I really thought he was going to be that fucking good. And like, it's just been so underwhelming, and it's not even his fault.
He still has the potential to be that. It's just depends on his quarterback. And I feel like where he's getting drafted, that's worth the risk. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, the very few mock drafts we've done here on the podcast, I've always ended up with Kyle Pitts. I'm always reaching on a guy like Kyle Pitts. I mean, just the talent speaks for itself. We know what he can be. Sad that he's not that yet, but we know when he is, he's going to be a top 2 round. He's going to be gone in the top 2 rounds when he finally hits that stride.
Yeah, you would hope. Yeah.
And for him going in the 5th round at his ADP at 58, I feel like it's a no-brainer at that point.
Yeah. No, I agree. All right, moving on. Carolina Panthers. I have a feeling we're all going to agree on this one.
Yeah.
It's Miles Sanders.
It is
He's
Miles
currently the RB20 with an ADP of 53.9. And it's been expressed all off season that he's their 3-down back and that they want him to catch passes. He's already been one of the most efficient backs when healthy, when on the field. Like, they have a great run blocking offensive line as well. Incredibly young offensive line. There's not much to say except for the opportunity's there. The role's going to be there. There's no competition. Shout out Chuba Hubbard. But it's just
the only thing that'll stop him is injury. That's it.
It's perfect. In terms of if he stays healthy, it's a perfect situation for him. Like, do you guys all have Miles Sanders?
I do.
Or?
I also have Miles Sanders.
I had Adam Thielen. I think Adam Thielen going at an ADP of 123.9. He's going after Allen Lazard, Jameson Williams, Odell. I think Adam Thielen's he's a decent bet. I think he's a red zone monster. Like, that man, when they get into the red zone and they're passing, he's going to command targets in the red zone. So he's a guy who could give you a few touchdowns. That late in the draft, like, I don't know, why not? He's not going to be your wide receiver 1. He's not that guy with that type of upside, but as like a flex option when people are on buys and stuff like that, I think he's a good choice.
Okay.
Agreed.
All right. So we all had the same guy. Nice. Except for that. Okay. So let's see who else. The NFC South we got next up, the New Orleans Saints. And again, I'm going with kind of a simple pick here. I'm going with Chris Olave. Currently the wide receiver 12 off boards and a 26.6 ADP. Anytime you could get a potential wide receiver 1, and I'm not talking about just a wide receiver 1 in fantasy football. I'm talking about the wide receiver 1 in fantasy football. And I think he has the ability to do so. I think he has the quarterback to do so. And I think the opportunity will be there as well, given that Michael Thomas will probably get injured as he always does and isn't 100% healthy yet either, by the way, and has expressed that. I think there's going to be an opportunity for 140 to 150 plus targets here. And with a better quarterback in Derek Carr, I think he might end up with 1,400, 1,500 yards and 10 plus touchdowns. So I think at the turn of the 2-3 turn, to be able to get a guy like Chris Olave, it doesn't get much better. So
I agree with you. I didn't really put anyone because I didn't really like anyone based on their ADP like that. But I would, out of anyone, I would obviously go with Chris Olave because he has that upside.
I went with someone different just to be different because Chris Olave is kind of the obvious answer there.
Yeah.
I just went with Jamal Williams. I just think the touchdown discrepancy isn't going to change as much. He's not really the home run type of guy, home run play type of guy. But when it comes to that touchdown production, I think that's going to remain consistent. And it's always nice having a guy who's going to score every week for you.
Go ahead, Chris.
So I went with 2 of the 3 Saints running backs. I picked 2 of them. The ones that aren't Jamal Williams.
Yep.
I picked Alvin Kamara going at right after James Conner. So the RB26. Get him in the 7th round. That's the lowest you'll ever be able to draft that dude. He's honestly one of the best receiving running backs we've ever seen play football. We know the type of explosions he could have. Yeah, last year was a down year for him, but he still finished as the running back 16. He's going as the running back 26. So there's still value that, he might get suspended, but if you're, feeling confident in your team at that point in the draft that you could take a risk and hope to survive while he's suspended, then you're getting a guy who could be a league winner. And then Kendra Miller, I expect Kendra Miller to take over Jamal Williams' role, honestly.
Yep.
He's just a better football player, and he's younger.
So superior.
Yeah. He has workhorse, like the build of a workhorse back in the NFL. He's big, he's powerful, he's explosive. So I think he's going to carve some type of role out for himself. So where's Kendrick Miller going? ADP of
It's in the
130s.
130s. Yeah, 140s. Yep.
He's going after Tank Bigsby, after Deontay Foreman, Devin Singletary.
I absolutely target him in all of my drafts. Yeah, I've said it in the past on podcasts. I think they're gonna have the Mark Ingram, Alvin Kamara type thing, but with Kendra Miller, and I think he's gonna help Alvin Kamara immensely. And I just don't see it with Jamal Williams. I get the touchdown production was there last season, but when you have the opportunity to get a younger guy with fresher legs and just far more talented to be able to take over that role, I think it's a no-brainer. Like Jamal Williams will lose his job when Kendra Miller is healthy. But yeah, that's the Saints there as well. And then the final team in the NFC South. This one was pretty easy for me too. But Chris, I'll let you get it started. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Who we got?
Mike Evans.
Okay,
pretty simple.
I didn't pick him because I have spoken ad nauseum about Mike Evans in the past, so I picked someone else.
Get him in the middle of the 7th round, ADP of 76.5, going behind Christian Kirk, Tyler Lockett, Mike Williams, all those other guys we talked about before. Michael Pittman, he's going behind. Like, come on. Michael Pittman? Are you serious?
I took Mike Evans also. Like, I know his quarterback is a bit of a question mark. We got Baker Mayfield, but it's Mike Evans. He's a red zone target. I think he's going to have a really good season.
I mean, I also took Mike Evans. Okay. I mean, still has his 1,000-yard season streak of 8 seasons now, which is just insane for a receiver who's had his ups and downs with quarterbacks, mostly ups recently. But with last year, with Tom Brady kind of falling off a little bit, still was able to do it. I think he'll still be able to repeat that production.
It is incredible that his quarterbacks throughout his career have been like Jameis Winston. Now it's going to be Baker Mayfield, Tom Brady. Like, look at the highs and the lows of what he's had at certain points in his career. I honestly did not take Mike Evans. As I said, I picked Mike Evans in the past as one of my top 5 guys in terms of their average draft position and stuff. So I wasn't going to cover him again. My pick was Rachaad White. He's the running back 27 off the board right now and a 73.7 ADP. And in the range of where he's currently being drafted, there is nobody else in that range that presents me running back 1 upside, top 12 running back upside. Rachaad White, due to the opportunity and the lack of competition, presents me with that type of upside. Is his efficiency good? No. In his rookie season, it wasn't. But apparently in camp, he's looked a lot better, a lot faster. All the good stuff, all the stuff that you want to hear. And I didn't even mention his pass catching ability yet. He's one of the best pass catching backs in the league already, with like near a 90% catch rate. So I just think Rachaad White has legitimate running back 1 upside. And to get a guy like that in the 7th round, 6th round, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer for me. So, all right, now we move on to the next division. And we move on to the NFC North, and we'll start here with the Chicago Bears. So, Trunks, do you want to get us started?
Yes, I took Khalil Herbert. His ADP is 109, and he's getting drafted as the, if it wants to load, he's getting drafted as the 37th running back off the board in a run-first offense that he is going to be the number 1 running back. I think it's very obvious that he's someone that you guys should be drafting. He's getting drafted in between guys like Samaje Perine and Zach Charbonnet. Again, as a running back 1 on his team, he's going to get the bulk of the carries. I think he's someone that has upside, not to be a running back 1 or anything, but he's could be like a good flex for you, I think, or a running back 2 possibly.
So I was going to say, you don't think Deontay Foreman eats a little bit into that? Because I know he's been getting some first. They've split first team reps, I believe, throughout the entirety of the offseason so far. So Roschon Johnson's cool too, but
forget about Travis Homer.
You can't forget about Travis Homer.
You can't do it.
You just can never forget about Travis Homer. It feels like he always sticks around. All right, who'd you pick, Ortiz? Don't tell me Travis. Don't.
It wasn't Travis. It wasn't. Okay. Homer, don't worry. I went with Justin Fields here. I just feel like when you look at his ADP compared to the quarterbacks that me personally, I put him in the caliber with fantasy wise at least. He's going 45 when Lamar Jackson is going 35, 10 picks ahead of him, when Joe Burrow is going 11 picks ahead of him. I just think the ability to rush the ball and be as an efficient runner as Justin Fields is with a new revamped offense, it's just a better situation because they were dead last in almost every offensive category last year. And I think now with DJ Moore, a wide receiver 1, and just all around a better team, he's going to have a lot better of a year.
Chris, what about you?
So I have 3 players for the Bears. I like the Bears ADPs. Even Khalil Herbert's a guy that I'm targeting, but I didn't pick him. But I'm trying to stack Justin Fields and DJ Moore in the 4th and 5th round. I'm trying to do that very often. Like I said, I'm drafting in my leagues at 6 or 7, and that's about where they go, the middle of the 4th and the middle of the 5th. So that's a stack I'm trying to get. And then if you take Fields and you're unable to get DJ Moore in the 5th round, someone else drafts him, Darnell Mooney at pick 133 in the draft, I think is a steal. I think that's an absolute steal. That's a guy who, shout out Bengal put me on to Darnell Mooney, but it's a guy who has the traits of a wide receiver 1. He's long. He could win versus man coverage. He's very athletic. All that fun juggle. He hasn't really put it together, but now adding DJ Moore and taking the pressure off of him, I think he's gonna have a real huge season for the Bears. So
it's just the only thing that scares me about this offense is the volume of passing. That's what gives me pause about the offense in general. But my guy was DJ Moore anyways, and I've been literally the #1 fan of the DJ Moore fan club this offseason. I've been preaching about how DJ Moore is about to have a massive season. I actually had him as my wide receiver 10, I think, which is kind of crazy. But he's currently going as the wide receiver 22 with the 51.0 ADP, middle of the 5th round, as Chris said. And I'll just throw a couple stats at you real quick. Just his catchable pass percentage last season was just slightly over 64%. That means all the balls that were thrown his way, he had a chance on just 64% of them. So for reference, Justin Fields was one of the worst quarterbacks in the league, and he had 70% catchable pass percentage. So I think that it's going to improve a bit. Obviously, you give a young quarterback a legitimate #1 receiver, and it makes everything so much easier on the guy because your first read on every play is going to that guy. I think DJ Moore is going to get hyper-targeted. Do I think this is a high-volume pass offense? No, but I still think he's going to get hyper-targeted. And I just think he's going to have a massive season, potentially top 10 wide receiver season, and to draft him in the middle of the 5th round is a massive steal. So, all right, next up, we go with the Detroit Lions. And I picked Jahmyr Gibbs. And I've been picking Jahmyr Gibbs in every mock draft that I have the opportunity to because I have the 11th pick. And once the 3rd round comes around, occasionally he'll last there. And if I could get him on the 3-4 turn, I know my team's going to be loaded for this season. He's going to have all the pass catching duty. And honestly, I'll list both of the running backs because I think both of the running backs are going to have great seasons. And I think at their current ADPs, they're well worth the draft pick because David Montgomery will inherit the Jamal Williams role. And Jamal Williams was an incredibly productive fantasy back last season. And David Montgomery is simply far more talented than Jamal Williams is. So I'd take either one of them. I don't mind. So the entire Detroit Lions backfield, I want a piece of that.
I picked David Montgomery also. He's getting drafted 81st. That's the ADP. They paid him big money. I think they're obviously going to use him just like they used Jamal Williams. Like you said, he's a good option.
I also went with David Montgomery here.
I went with Jahmyr Gibbs. I kind of flipped my switch on Jahmyr Gibbs. I actually just read a tweet while we were live. Alvin and Kamara and Christian McCaffrey didn't even register 30% of their team's rushing attempts as rookies, and they finished as the RB8, the RB3, and the RB9.
Yep.
So Jahmyr Gibbs, yeah, you may be concerned about the workload in terms of rushing. That man is, if he sees the receiving work that we expect him to see, he's going to be a top 10 fantasy running back. It's as simple as that.
I gotta ask, how do we feel about Jameson Williams long term? I'm kind of scared.
I think he's all right. I don't think he's ever going to be an elite wide receiver, but a guy with that type of speed who could take the top off the defense is always going to be valuable.
That's exactly what Dan Campbell said. Like literally word for almost bar for bar what Dan Campbell said. But Jameson Williams has been struggling with drops big time in practice so far, and I'm kind of concerned being that I have him in Dynasty. But But yeah, the backfield is going to be incredibly productive in Detroit. So I would want both of those running backs if possible. All right, next up, you have the Green Bay Packers. And you know what, Ortiz, go ahead and get us started for the Green Bay Packers. Who you got?
I'm with Romeo Dubes here.
So did I.
With his pick being, I think, was at 166. I was just here.
166.9,
yeah.
wide receiver 61. Yeah, Romeo Dobbs is the guy.
I mean, he came off a iffy season last year, to say the least.
This is rookie.
Yeah, rookie season. But I think second year with a new quarterback, he's going to be thrown out there because, quite personally, the Packers don't have anything going for them at this current point in time.
Damn.
They might as well
They have
just
Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon.
Yep, they have one other thing going for them.
Nice.
Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
Well, I don't see them winning many games this season, personally, for the Green Bay Packers. So I think the young guys will be out there showing out. And I think 166, why not have him at the 14th round, have him on your bench? Could go off a few weeks.
Yeah. Also, apparently, since I have the same guy, him and Jordan Love worked extensively together this offseason, like the entirety of the offseason. And in OTAs and throughout the entirety of training camp, for the most part, he's been the most heavily targeted receiver by Jordan Love. I don't read too much into this stuff in the offseason too often, but like when I hear stuff like that, I start to get a little excited about it. And I think there's a pathway for him to have legit wide receiver 2 upside in fantasy football, I think. So, yeah, I like Romeo Dobbs this season. So
I have Aaron Jones. He has an ADP of 41, getting drafted as the 16th running back off the board after Jahmyr Gibbs and Ken Walker. Last season, he finished as the running back 9. Yes, he doesn't have Aaron Rodgers anymore, but he has more of an opportunity now, in my opinion, because they have less weapons and he's a pass catching running back. I think he's definitely going to line up his receiver some plays, and I think he's going to have a lot more production in receiving work this season.
I honestly love every Packers ADP right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love AJ Dillon, I love Aaron Jones, love Watson, love Dobbs. Like I love all of that. I'll take almost any Packer right now.
Yeah, I have Aaron Jones too, for every reason you said. And our boy Trevor Everett's in the chat. He says, "No Dean?" ? I'm a head out. I know Sweezy says, "My boys, holy shit, I missed you guys." Dang, where's Dean?
Miss you, Sleazy. Yeah, Dean, where
Chris,
are you?
that hat is fire, by the way.
Dean has a lot of problems with him right now.
Dean does have a lot.
Oh, Sweezy, this is the hat I got yesterday that I tweeted about, bro. And I got another one. I got 2 of them. Thanks.
Like I don't even know how to
Dean
describe
can't
how
talk,
it sounds. Yeah, Dean
basically.
can't talk. Dean doesn't have a car. What is going right for Dean at the moment? Love you, Wagner. I'm sorry, buddy. But yeah, I know Dean would pick like Christian Watson or something. I don't know why, but all right, what's the last team? Oh, the Minnesota Vikings.
I have Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
I think there's
still
I've
getting him
seen
at
some mock drafts. Yeah, but I've seen some mock drafts where you could get him at 3. So like
we also did a mock draft where McCaff fell to 7. So
yeah.
I did a mock draft where
I mean anything is possible, as Kevin Garnett once said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
True.
If I had the first overall pick, I'll probably draft Jettas before anyone else. So
I agreed.
For me, I've been running the Alexander Madison hype train the whole offseason, so I didn't want to take Alexander Madison. God bless. Because I just felt like I'd keep doing that. I took KJ Osborne, oddly enough. He's currently wide receiver 68, and for the most part, he's like 100. I think his ADP is like close to 180, 170.
Yo, Sweezy, who the hell is Calvin Cook, brother?
But yeah, I picked KJ Osborne because him and Kirk Cousins seem to have a lot of chemistry down the stretch last season. As in the final 4 weeks of the season, did you know he had 3 top 12 weeks in the final 4?
Oh, I did not know that.
I did know that.
KJ Osborne,
he's on my dynasty team.
KJ Osborne is like that.
He's nice.
And currently he's been running as the number 2 wide receiver in with the first team offense. Jordan Addison has not yet earned that role. Do I expect him to? Yes, but I do also expect that KJ Osborne is going to have some pretty big weeks. So, but
yeah. So Obviously, Jetta's he's the guy you're drafting everywhere if you get the
obviously.
chance.
Kirk
But
Cousins is good fucking ADP too.
my second guy is Kirk
Oh,
Cousins.
sorry.
It's okay. ADP is 108. He's getting drafted as the
Like QB
13th
14?
quarterback. He finished last season as the 6th rated quarterback.
That offense is kind of hard not to draft him higher.
He throws a lot.
He throws
yeah.
a lot.
Or the second
So-
best passing offense in the league.
Yes, I think based off where he's getting drafted, it's worth taking him as your quarterback.
And it
if
might
you want to
be
wait
better.
on one.
Mm-hmm.
It might somehow be better this season.
And
Like-
with the help of with my guy, TJ Hockey Socks.
I love hockey socks.
Trunks is getting some my guys today. Like
Yeah.
KJ Osborne, TJ Hawkinson right now.
Aaron
Look at
Jones.
this. Aaron Jones, yeah.
I mean, we know Hawkinson as he finished as tight end 2 in receptions, targets, and receiving yards last year behind the one and only Travis Kelce. Having a guy like TJ Hawkinson who will just go out there and is just a reception machine at the end of the day, especially with Adam Thielen gone, it opens up the field more for him. He's going to be playing a lot harder. He's playing for a contract this season. I just think TJ Hawkinson at pick 43 I think he should be closer to Mark Andrews. He's going at 25. I might argue to take him over Mark Andrews because of health. It's hard
could
with tight
never
ends.
take TJ Hawkinson over Mark
I'm
Andrews.
taking Hawkinson third in tight ends personally.
No, I think it's an argument for him and Mark Andrews because of just how reliable TJ Hawkinson could be.
I wouldn't take him third, but
I'm
we
taking him
shall
over Kittle.
we shall
Take
touch
him.
on the guy
Taking him
that
over
I
the
will
guy.
talk. No,
We're gonna
no.
touch
I
the
am.
guy. Oh, Sweezy asks
Not
if
touching
you're still
Hawkinson at
riding
that
J.K.
ADP.
Dobbins.
I am definitely riding J.K. Dobbins. I'm
shit
riding
out
the
of him.
shit out of him.
Just riding him off to the
But-
sunset.
But he has not reported to training camp yet, so I don't know how to feel about him right now, Sleazy.
He's too busy
It's tough.
getting ridden.
It's fucking tough. I think I rode him too hard. He's injured now. But yeah, no,
Shit.
we'll talk about tight ends in a few, but damn, that was a very weird transition.
Well, actually, we could talk
go
about
from-
tight ends right now.
Why? I don't want to talk about tight ends yet.
Well,
Oh, yeah. Quick question.
No, we can.
Has anyone watched the Netflix series Quarterback?
I watched
No.
the first
Mad
three
fucking
episodes.
good.
watched it.
Yeah,
Mad fucking
I watched
good,
the
by
first
way.
10 minutes and I was like, damn, this shit's kind of boring.
I love it.
I liked it.
I love
Yeah.
it so far. I watched the first 3 episodes as well. I'm
watching
fucking loving
Community
it.
again.
Yeah.
Man, I've
sure.
never seen it.
Oh, the Community is fucking awesome,
Yeah.
bro. I have to rewatch it.
Yeah.
I've been,
All right.
I've been
You know what?
delving into One Piece.
We might as well.
There we
might
go.
as well
I
go to my
said we
New
can.
York. Might as
There
well
we
go
go.
to my New York Giants and the NFC East in totality. For the New York Giants, it's quite simple. It's Darren Waller. This guy has no business to be drafted as late as he is right now, especially going off the board as the tight end 7, and he's going in I think it is the 6th round. Yeah, middle of the 6th round. Personally, in all of my mock drafts, I've been attempting to get him at that 5-6 turn because if I can, then I know I have my tight end position settled. I don't know if you guys all follow the Giants. Clearly not as much as I do, but every
beast.
single report out of Giants training camp is that he is Daniel Jones's #1 guy, getting all the targets. Nobody else is seeing the ball nearly as much as Darren Waller is. Here's my thing. Can you get a guy with top 3 or even potentially, just saying, I'm throwing it out there, if he's healthy,
Don't
the
say he's gonna be
entirety of the
one.
season.
Don't say he's going to be 1.
he could be 2.
Darren Waller can be tight end 1 in fantasy football.
I don't. See
I'm
it.
just throwing it out there.
I could see 2.
It's tough.
I
With Kelsey.
think
It's very
the
difficult with
ceiling
Kelsey.
for him is 1.5. There's no way he's 1.
I just
I think it's 2.
to get a guy, but regardless, to get a
Yeah.
guy like that in the 6th round, the second best tight end in fantasy football, if he could stay healthy, like
No, I agree. I picked Darren Waller too.
absolutely, I'm going for that.
Did
I
we all
picked him
have
too.
Waller?
I think,
I picked Jalen Hyatt.
which is also a great
Darren
pick.
Waller is someone that I'm trying to draft though at that in the middle of the 6th round. But Jalen Hyatt, he's a guy who you take with your last pick in the draft. He's been very impressive in training camp. They're all raving about how fast this man is. They say he strides like Usain Bolt.
He's clocked
That's
in
what's
at
up.
24 plus
Yeah.
miles per hour so far
Yeah.
this training.
So he's
camp.
a guy who it may take some time. It may not be this year. It may be a dud of a pick. But with your last pick in the draft, why not? Maybe he gets going and more integrated in the second half of the season.
Yeah.
That's normally when it is for the rookie wide receivers after the bye week. That's normally when they start to take off. So
No worries. The Giants are going to have offensive rookie of the year and defensive
Yeah.
rookie of the year
Yeah,
this season.
No worries. No one worry about
We're
it.
going to be the
Yeah.
best team in the league and win the Super Bowl. That's it. It's just that simple. All right. Next up, we'll go with the Dallas Cowboys. Chris, you want to start us off?
Yeah, Brandon Cooks.
Same
Nice.
here.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did we all go Brandon Cooks?
I thought about him, but I went CeeDee Lamb. I think he is the wide
Which I
receiver one
agree with.
upside.
Mhm.
You know,
My
you
guy.
could get him at the end of the first round. I think if you have one of those picks like 10, 11, 12, even a little higher if you really want, you could draft him and he could be the wide receiver one. So
Yeah. What about you? You have Brandon Cooks as
I also
well?
want Brandon Cooks.
So-
I mean, getting him at 95 is for a bona fide. I wouldn't say
It's crazy.
he's really good.
He's currently ranked as the wide receiver 41, and I didn't realize some of this. I kind of started to think this offseason that maybe Brandon Cooks was a little bit washed. And then I actually went through all of the advanced statistics and stuff like that. So I spoke about a stat before, catch percentage. 68.8% of the targets towards Brandon Cooks were actually catchable. Outside of that, he was 10th in contested catch rate, 13th in target separation, and top 20 in win rate versus man coverage. That's Brandon Cooks. Nothing has changed. He's still one of the better wide receivers in the entirety of the league. Kind of terrifies me because he's a Dallas Cowboy. But him and CeeDee Lamb, especially because no pressure's on him now.
No.
You're not the number one. You are the number two, clear-cut number two now. So, and Dak Prescott will probably be throwing the ball a bunch, and Brandon Cooks will be targeted probably 100 times. I'm definitely all in on Brandon Cooks there. So I think that's pretty clear. I would like to think Dak is better than Davis Mills.
I would like to think
you'd
that.
have to assume, right?
I would hope.
But yeah, for a guy that late, it's absolutely worth it. So, all right, next up, we'll go with the Philadelphia Eagles. Trunks, go ahead, start us off.
I took Rashad Penny
I did as well.
over here.
Me too.
He has an ADP on Sleeper of 102, getting drafted as the 38th running back.
36th.
36.
Yep.
Yeah, it was
36
wrong
running
column.
back on
36 running back. He's playing behind DeAndre Swift, but DeAndre Swift has proven that he can never stay healthy. So
Don't talk about health with Penny, though.
Yeah,
I know.
But that's
I know.
a bad argument.
It's a bad argument.
It's a bad argument, Trunks.
It is a bad
Do
argument.
not talk health with
But-
Rashad Penny.
But I think where he's getting drafted, it's worth taking the risk on him, even though he has a bad injury history.
It shows
'Cause
you
if-
like on Sleeper like where they rank on their position, or you just count them all. You count them all.
Mm-hmm.
Making sure.
I've been
I
looking
wasn't wasting
on.
time.
I've been on Fantasy Pros. They have all the different app.
Yeah, I've
rankings
been
here.
counting on Sleeper for every
Been
guy.
counting?
Like, nah, because once I get like one guy, then I kind of have like a basis of where to go from. So
No,
like,
look, they have a whole column here. It just says the number.
oh shit.
If you want me to send it, you just use that for the rest of the
Well, it's
episode.
fine. I don't need
Yeah,
it.
you can send
I already
that to
wrote it
me.
all down.
you wrote
I'll
it?
take that.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
It's fine. But yeah, I also picked Rashad Penny. When healthy, when on the field, he's one of the most efficient backs actually in NFL history, but he's just never on the field. So like it's kind of the issue. Behind one of the best offensive lines in all of football, I still expect him to get some sort of goal line work, even though Jalen Hurts has a tendency to steal that from running backs. But yeah, I mean, Swift will have the passing game work. I like both of them at their current ADPs, to be completely honest. And then I feel indifferent about the wide receivers. I think they're both ranked relatively properly. Maybe Devontae Smith is a little too high.
Dallas Goddard also.
That one I've kind of
Dallas
Wow,
Goddard.
That's actually my
About
player
him.
to go with is Devontae Smith.
really.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah. Go ahead, give your reasoning.
I mean, it's the 2 years he's been in the league, he's just been getting better and better. And simple enough, Jalen Hurts is also getting better and better. AJ Brown, the team around him just getting better and better. So it's hard not to see him progress with everyone else, just
That's
getting
fair.
better and better.
He's currently going as I think the wide receiver 12,
Uh,
or something close to that, which I just thought was a little too high. Like I just thought that was very high for Devontae Smith, but his talent lends to be that.
Mhm.
Like
All right.
I don't
Ready?
disagree.
This is a graphic that Pick Aside posted. Start bench cut. Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, T. Higgins.
I'm
starting Jalen Waddle.
Sorry,
Yep.
yeah, I'm starting. I'm gonna bench
Benching
Devontae
T.
Smith.
Higgins.
I'm benching Devontae Smith
and
personally.
cutting Devontae Smith.
Benching T. Higgins, cutting Devontae Smith.
I'm benching T. Higgins, cutting Devontae Smith.
Go
too.
Devontae
I like
Smith.
how we all agree on Waddle though.
Yeah,
Fins
yeah,
up.
Of course.
that one's pretty clear.
Nice. All right.
All right, and then one more team. That is the Washington Commanders.
Ooh.
I'm just wondering, did you take your boy?
I took everyone. This is another same thing as the Seahawks. I'm taking everyone.
I don't know how I feel about the Gibson Brian Robinson.
I think
situation.
Gibson is a steal.
I agree with
Gibson is a steal.
you.
He's
You
getting the
draft him in
passing
the-
game work right now.
You draft him in the 9th round. That's a steal for your 0 RB teams. Anytime I do a 0 RB mock draft, I'm drafting the shit out of Antonio Gibson.
My boy.
Drafting him so hard. I think
You have him, don't you?
I think Terry McLaurin's going a little
You're
bit too
shit
low.
running
That's
back,
where I
yeah.
have him at 49. I think is just crazy. He has wide receiver 1 potential. Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, Terry
Yeah.
McLaurin's going as the wide receiver 21 on
Yeah,
Sleeper.
and Jahan Dotson's currently going as the wide receiver 38, and he was actually my pick. I picked Jahan Dotson with an average ADP of 85.0. He was filthy as a rookie. He obviously had a ton of touchdowns. I don't expect that rate, at least with how many catches he had, to continue, but I do expect him to get targeted a bunch more, especially because he's the undisputed number 2 in this offense. And in some games, he will be the number 1 potentially. But yeah, I mean, Terry McLaurin takes all the pressure off of him. He's one of the better route runners in the league already, and it's his 2nd season. I love Jahan Dotson. I think he's going to be a great player. I'm betting on the talent here more so than anything else.
And even Sam Howell, bro. Your last pick in the draft. Want to, take a flyer on a quarterback? Draft him. Why not? He's been lighting up training camp, Sam Howell. There's been nothing but good. And I know it's just training camp, but there's been nothing but good reports about what Sam Howell has been doing at training camp.
All good reports, yeah.
Bro, I was looking at his college stats the other day. It's actually nuts how
He was so fucking good.
well in his sophomore year, after when he was supposed to be the number 1 overall pick, after that, like he passed for like a shit ton of yards and whatnot and a bunch of touchdowns. But then the next year when UNC sucked fucking cock, bro, he ran for 800 yards. Like, yeah, he wasn't as good throwing the ball, but he had no one to throw the ball to. And he ran for 800 yards. Like, he can move. He can run. He has a cannon for an arm. He has a pocket presence. He's going to be such a good player, bro. Oh, I'm so excited.
You're UNC guy. You love him.
Oh, I can't wait.
You've been talking him up all off season.
Bro, he's going to ball out. I can't wait till we do
for
the
football,
NFC
bro.
East preview, bro.
I can't wait for football in
Got
general. Bro.
Spicy hot takes.
There's like something I want to see from every team going into the season. Like I'm so except for like the Cardinals. I don't give a shit about the Cardinals. But like I'm just so excited. Like
Sorry, Arizona.
Football's I'm so sorry to all the Cardinals fans.
Nah, you
out
know
there.
who I don't care about? The Buccaneers, bro.
I mean, I feel that way about the
I
Packers.
just want Mike Evans to get another 1,000 yards.
I'm doing a thread on my Twitter. I'm doing like 32 days, 32 NFL teams, and I'm like doing my power rankings, and I'm going down and like one team a day. And I had the Buccaneers at 30, and I was like writing out the thread, and I was like, wow, like I really don't care. So I ended the thread. The last like tweet on that thread was this team has no hope with Baker Mayfield as the quarterback with a picture of
Wow.
Baker. Like I really don't care.
Now watch
They're
the
gonna
Bucks
suck.
make the fucking playoffs.
No, they're not, bro.
It'd be crazy.
I hope they do.
They suck. So like they're not even that bad. But then when you just factor in the fact that Baker Mayfield's the quarterback, they fucking suck.
Honestly,
terrible.
yeah,
Well,
that kind
yeah.
of does bring it down for them quite a bit.
What are you looking at me like that for?
No, I don't know.
I wish Dean was here. He'd be like, "Yo, Baker's not that bad. Baker's not that bad."
Well, Dean
Um,
can't talk, so he wouldn't really say that.
That is true.
That's what Dean would say to us.
All right. On to the next one. On to the AFC. I think we've completed every team in the NFC. If we missed any, I'm
We have.
so sorry to any team in the NFC.
We did it. We did it.
All right. On to the AFC, and we'll start in the AFC North. We shall start with the Baltimore Ravens and none other than a rookie.
Yeah.
That is Zay Flowers.
Nice.
Going as the wide receiver 46, 104.6 ADP. Every single report coming out of the offseason has been that Zay Flowers is pretty much the
greatest
best
ever.
player
Ever.
on the Ravens and the best wide receiver in the entire NFL,
Yep.
it seems. And who knows? Maybe he is. Maybe he is. I'm going to take the chance on him being that good. Obviously, they're searching for their wide receiver 1. So maybe they found him. And I think Lamar will target him and give him a shot early on. and pretty often. So especially with Rashad Bateman injured. So
Yeah, I took Zay Flowers too.
I'm also believing in the hype and took Zay Flowers.
I want Lamar going as the quarterback 5 on sleeper. I have him as my quarterback 1.
Yeah,
Pretty
fair.
self-explanatory there. Get him in like the middle of the 3rd round.
I feel like that's a steal for Lamar.
I promise all my drafts, I want to be in more leagues, not just these stupid 3 leagues. I want to be in more, but every draft I will have either Lamar, Justin Fields, or someone else.
I feel like
we're gonna talk
or
about.
someone else.
I would hope so.
I will
Yeah.
assume
No,
you
but we're
would
gonna
have
talk
someone
about
else.
that someone. I can't
Oh,
reveal him yet.
I feel like
Let's
you said
take
this
guesses.
last year
Let's
too.
take guesses,
You just want to be
guesses.
in like every league, and then
So
It's
I
not
like
Sam Howell.
playing
it's
fantasy.
It was just a
someone on a
very-
team that we haven't said yet.
Yes.
Oh, you're
Another
gonna guess
AFC.
too?
We're gonna
It's
guess.
Tua.
It might be Tua.
It is
yeah.
Tua.
Mm,
It's Tua. It is
Mm,
Tua.
yeah, it's probably Tua.
But yeah,
Who was
Lamar.
getting a phone call? God damn.
not me anymore.
That was aggressive.
But yeah, I'm drafting Lamar.
I get that.
It's tough with Lamar. Like I do have him as my quarterback 1, but sometimes I do my mock drafts and I'm like, damn, like is this too high for Lamar? Like sometimes I want to just draft other players, and I'm like, well, I could get my quarterback later. I could get Justin Fields in the next round, type of thing. So
I typically like to wait on my quarterbacks usually, but
I like to draft
It
either
really-
a quarterback or a tight end early.
I feel
one
like
or the other, yes.
depends on the board. If I'm not reaching too much at a quarterback, then
Yeah, it's how it falls.
Mhm.
It's how it falls
Yeah.
for me. Yeah. All right. Next up, the Cincinnati Bengals. I picked Tyler Boyd,
nice.
surprisingly. Let's go.
I was wrong with Tyler Boyd.
He's the wide receiver 57 with a 134.6 ADP. And he's probably the best wide receiver handcuff in the entire NFL, if I'm going to be entirely honest. He's never finished lower than the wide receiver 33. Well, at least since 2018, he has not. And he's currently the 3rd target in an explosive offense. I'd assume that he's going to continue being at least semi-targeted, probably 90 targets in a season.
And
if
he's
you get
always
that-
good for 2 or 3 games to go for 85 fantasy points.
Exactly. Yeah. In best ball, he's typically an amazing receiver too. But yeah, I mean, I'm drafting him in the 12th round pretty much in this. And if he's my 4th or 5th wide receiver, I think I'm pretty happy about that. Or 5th wide receiver, I'm happy about that.
I think it's pretty simple for me. I picked Joe Mixon. He's getting drafted. He has an ADP. Where is he? 42 on sleeper, getting drafted as the 17th running back, right in front of Damian Pierce. I just don't understand why he's getting drafted so low. He's the number 1 running back on one of the best offenses in the NFL. He has Samaje Perine's gone. He's the only running back
that's the
there now.
biggest thing.
That is the biggest
He's
thing.
Samaje
gonna be a
Perine
3-down
is
back.
gone. There's no reason for Joe Mixon to be going this low.
Yeah,
He should be a 2nd round pick in fantasy.
Easily.
football.
A late
easily.
2nd, yes, I would agree. But a
That's who
2nd
I picked though.
nonetheless.
So he's going way too late.
yeah. I'm trying to take him in every draft.
You could feel however you want to feel about Joe Mixon, the player. Like, oh, he took a step back. He's not that good, not that explosive, whatever. But like playing on this,
are true.
yeah, for sure. But playing on this offense with the workload he's gonna get, like he's going way too late in fantasy.
I
Mhm.
agree. Honestly, he's like the perfect type of guy to have in like if you draft receivers the first 3 rounds.
Yeah.
You draft the receiver the first 3 rounds, and then you get Joe Mixon.
Yeah, I'm
like,
cool with Joe Mixon as my running back 1.
If,
if
if
my
he's your
receivers
RB2 or
are stacked-
RB3, you're set.
Yeah.
But yeah, your receivers must be stacked in that case. But next up, this one's pretty interesting to me. I'll start with you, Ortiz, but we're gonna go with the Cleveland Browns. What do you got?
I actually went with Nick Chubb here at the 16th overall pick in
Yeah.
fantasy football. I think Nick Chubb is by far the best, not by far is a lot, but the best runner of the football in the NFL. And he's the most consistent player in the
I
NFL when it comes
back
to
the
running.
by far, fully back the by far best
Yeah.
runner in the NFL.
I was afraid I was going to
So
get
I'm
some
with you on
fucking.
that.
No, there's
Some
a dude
static.
in Atlanta.
It's hard when he hasn't played a snap yet in the
That's a good
NFL.
point,
It
Ortiz.
doesn't even matter.
It does to me.
It does to me as well. I agree.
I just think Nick Chubb is a surefire first round talent pick. He's going in the 2nd round every other draft.
Talent pick.
Talent pick. You know,
You know what
words.
else? No Kareem Hunt.
no Kareem.
No
Hunt.
Kareem.
Yeah.
So all the pass catching work should now be Nick Chubb's as well.
I can't believe Kareem Hunt's not on a team.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I see I completely foresee a full range of outcomes where Nick Chubb is RB1 in fantasy football this season. I have not seen that in the past. This season, I completely foresee that Nick Chubb could be the RB1 this season, especially with how efficient he is on the ground. I did not pick Nick Chubb, but I definitely agree that Nick Chubb is completely undervalued in fantasy football drafts and should be going close to the top 5.
I went with Nick Chubb just because I didn't really like the value of anyone else on this team, honestly.
Oh,
I didn't
love
like it.
value.
Not as much as Nick Chubb.
Yeah, Amari Cooper is another name I was looking at. It's a bit low, but
I picked neither of those guys. My pick, Elijah Moore. Currently going as the wide receiver 48, 112.8 ADP. Apparently, he's been destroying everybody in ones on in training camp and consistently. Ready? I'm gonna just throw a stat out there. This is crazy. So I was talking about the catchable target percentage, right? So I said 64 for DJ Moore and 68 for I forgot who the other one was. Whatever. Sorry to whoever it was. I think it was Brandon Cooks. I'll give you guys a chance to guess. What do you think Elijah Moore's catchable target rate was last season? What was his catchable target percentage last year?
38.
No, that's crazy. It's not that low.
57.
Close.
Yeah.
Oh, that's close. I'm gonna go 61.
No, down.
Oh,
55.
it's 54.
54.5%.
I said it before you said it. I got it.
His just about half of his passes thrown to him were actually catchable. That's insane, by the way. And meanwhile, he was the 12th best receiver in the league at creating separation. So he created separation, and not one of the balls were ever accurate to him. So, it happens. We would hope that a better quarterback plus more opportunity will equal a productive fantasy season. Drafting him as the wide receiver 48 currently is crazy to me, especially for a guy that has potentially top 20 wide receiver upside, if not even better, given that Amari Cooper will get all the attention, and who knows what Deshaun Watson's going to be this year, by the way. I'm always going out of my way to make sure I could try and get Elijah Moore in my fantasy drafts. Always. Like, he's one of those guys. He's a my guy. I absolutely am all in on Elijah Moore this year.
Me too.
Yay. Let's go, Elijah. Let's go, Elijah. All right. So I think we got one more team in that division. Am I missing someone? Steelers, yes. Sorry.
Deontay Johnson.
I also want Deontay.
Go check out
Deontay Johnson.
Check out the video on our channel. 5 players you must draft in fantasy football to hear what I feel about Deontay Johnson. I'll leave it at that.
I also want Deontay Johnson.
I'll also leave it at look for Chris's response in the other video.
But something I didn't mention in that video, though, players with 140 plus targets in each of the last 3 seasons. Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs, Deontay Johnson. And that's
the
it.
list.
Draft Deontay Johnson.
I took a page out of your book. I actually said all of them. I said every single Steelers ADP I love at the current moment.
Even Najee?
Yeah, I do. I actually really love where Najee's
I'll
being
never draft
right
that
now.
man again.
Because Najee Harris isn't getting drafted till like the late 3rd round, mid to late 3rd round. And I think all the pass catching work will go to him. I think his efficiency will improve this season. I think we're just a little scared of Najee Harris.
It's just
given
other
what
running
happened
backs
last season.
Have at that point.
It's not even. It's.
Would you take Najee or Travis Etienne?
Travis Etienne. I'm never drafting Najee Harris in
I'm taking
football
Etienne.
ever.
I would take
Travis.
Najee Harris personally.
But Aaron Jones, Joe Mixon, they're both going
I'm
way
taking
after.
Gibbs over him, but would you take Breece Hall or Najee Harris?
Neither.
Najee.
I'm taking Najee.
Neither.
If I had to pick.
Draft a receiver.
That's fair.
What about Ken Walker? You taking Ken Walker or Najee?
I'm taking Najee over
Najee.
Ken Walker
I'm
all
taking
day.
Ken Walker there.
I'm taking 3 out of the 4 guys around him over. I'm taking him over those guys. So it's just, in my opinion, I love all of the ADPs, especially George Pickens. But I've spoken a ton about George Pickens this offseason. Another one of the guys that I've just been hyping up like crazy. But I don't think I have to hype him up like crazy anymore because his practices do that themselves. I'm sure all of you saw the clip with Joey Porter Jr.
Bro. Come on.
Bro, Joey Porter was holding him the whole route.
Bro.
Stop.
Can't create no separation, bro, on a rookie cornerback. Couldn't create any separation.
It was one rep, and then he caught the ball on his dome.
He had to push off.
That's what George Pickens been doing since day one.
Catches
it on everybody's heads.
Every time I push off, I always catch it on people's heads. So
head tops. George Pickens is going to do a bunch of that. He's going to score like 15 touchdowns this year on fade routes. That's it. All right. Outside of that, let's go on to the next team now. All right. Next up, we have the Buffalo Bills.
Yo, mention that we're doing the AFC.
Oh, yeah.
Please.
So now we move on to the AFC East. It's the first time I fucked that up. Shit.
Oh,
And the first team, the Buffalo Bills. Chris, you want to start us off?
Yeah, I guess Gabe Davis.
Yes. Let's go. Finally.
Yeah.
The Gabe Davis hype train.
I don't know. I don't want any of them. TBH.
I didn't even
mean-
pick Gabe Davis, but
Gabe Davis is a guy that you could get late. So, like, I'm cool with that. Like, if I must draft him, but I really don't want it. This is like, I feel super strongly about this team. I don't want to draft any of them.
I don't really want to draft any of them either, but I took James Cook.
I also took James Cook. I love James Cook
Yeah.
and where he's being drafted.
He's getting drafted 89th, and he's getting drafted as the
RB32.
32nd running back. Everything coming out of camp is that he looks great.
Best
So,
player on their offense.
Yeah, so if there's someone I'm going to pick on the Bills, it's James Cook, but I'm not crazy confident.
I
in it.
love where he's being drafted right now. You talked about receiving running backs before.
Mhm.
There is such a pathway for him to be a top 20 running back
There
just
is.
based off receiving work alone. I think there's going to be 80 to 100 targets for him in this offense, not to mention that he'll probably end up with like 120 to 150 carries, and I still think he's going to get touchdowns just because of how explosive he is. Obviously, Damian Harris is taking away the goal line work. We know that that'll happen, but James Cook will be getting touches. That is for sure. He's too dynamic not to, and I think that turns into a top 20 running back finish.
I don't know, bro. I just feel like we've been saying that about Devin Singletary all these years.
Cook's more explosive.
He is a better player. I just don't know if the workload's really gonna be there like we expect it to be.
I mean, we've seen with the Bills how inconsistent their run game is, so it's hard to
They
base
just
it off that.
don't want to get those guys involved. I don't know what it is.
I guess.
Weird.
I just think Cook
That's
is
the only thing that
different.
scares me. I do think James Cook is a really good player, though. So,
You could put him in the slot too. I think Cook is very
Yeah.
different because he's such a good receiver.
and I guess
Singletary
at
was
that
not that.
draft position, like, might as well draft.
Middle of the 7th round currently. So
I don't
hard
know.
not to want to get involved in that.
I actually took a rookie for mine. I took tight end Dalton Kincaid. I think that's how you Kincaid.
Yeah.
I just think looking at his reports on Sleeper, it's just a whole bunch of good news. And like Sully said before, I don't really read too much into things. But as a rookie, seeing consistent targets in practice with competition with Dawson Knox, who was one of Josh Allen's favorite red zone targets, he's going to be used in 12 personnel sets. He's expected to contribute right away. Just whatever. Dalton Kincaid. I don't have much to say about him.
Whatever.
The Bills are
12 personnel, baby.
That was good. Trunks, what is that?
Do you know what 12 personnel
I read
is?
this shit right here.
It's so when you see when it says that type of personnel, the first number is the running back, the second number is the tight end. So can you guys put together what that means? 12 personnel then.
It's running back and this tight end. Yeah, it's that simple. The 12.
What do you mean no running
What?
back end, no tight end? What do you mean by that?
It's the 1 and the 2. Just 1, 2, 12.
No, it means there's one running back and two tight ends.
So it's my next
Just
guess.
like if there's 22 personnel, it's 2 running backs and 2 tight ends. So
the more you know.
there you guys go.
I said that so confidently.
I mean, I also said pretty confident that I read it off the screen.
No, it's okay. It's fine. The more you guys know, you're learning. Still learning some football stuff. It's okay. I don't know everything yet either. That's why I'm watching Quarterback. Shout out Quarterback.
I watched like the last
documentary.
5 minutes of the last episode, and that was about it.
Yo, Kirk, I love Kirk.
Yeah.
I love him. He's a great guy.
He really sang at that. What
Bro,
show
he's
was
a
he?
good ass fucking singer. He's a good singer.
That was the only part I saw of the show. Was
He's a
Kirk
good singer.
Cousins singing.
He's a really
I walked
good
down the
singer.
stairs and I saw Kirk Cousins singing, so I watched. Then he stopped. Then I left.
It's so funny because like Kirk says it in the documentary. He's like, yeah, I'm just like a normal guy. He's like there's nothing special about me. He's just like, I'm just a normal guy. Like, I don't like fashion. He's like, I'll just wear whatever. I love that. Kirk. Shout out Kirk. Shout out Marcus Mariota too.
Kirk 30, baby.
Well, might as well say shout out Patrick.
Yeah, but we
Mahomes.
don't got to shout out Pat because Pat's just the greatest to ever do it. So it's just that simple. All right, next up, Miami Dolphins. I didn't pick a Dolphin.
Oh,
I'm kind of indifferent to all of them. If Jalen Waddle's there, cool. I'm happy. Not mad at it. I'm not going to take Tyreek Hill around like the 6th, 7th pick personally. There's other guys I would rather take. Outside of that, I don't know what their running back situation is going to look like. I don't know if Dalvin Cook's going to be there because if he is, that's my pick.
I agree with that. But I picked Jalen Waddle.
I picked none of them.
I'm not too confident in it. Like, it's just like, not that I don't want Jalen Waddle. It's just, where's he getting drafted? Like, there's other guys that I possibly would want instead of him. But I think Jalen Waddle can finish the top 5 receivers. So I'm definitely not mad drafting him where he's getting drafted at 21. So
I also went with Waddle. Same reasons. Didn't really have one, but Waddle's a cool guy.
I went with Tyreek Hill. I think Tyreek Hill was being drafted too late for my personal preference. I had him as my wide receiver 2 this year. He's going as wide receiver 4. So, in that range, if I'm going, obviously I said I'm going Bijan, but if I have Bijan in another league and I want to start my team with a receiver and Jefferson's off the board, Tyreek Hill is the guy I'm drafting. I think he has real potential to finish as the wide receiver 1 this year. He was great when Tua was healthy last year. He was on pace for fucking 2,000 receiving yards. Like he's gonna go off this year. So
imagine having a fantasy team with both Jay Jettas and Tyreek Hill on it.
Yeah, it's not possible.
It sounds like a team last year that could have won it all. They did.
Shut up, Ortiz. Fuck you, man. We get it. We understand. You had a great fantasy team and you won a championship.
Drafted that team for you.
Right, we did.
what league was this? BTB?
No, this was the other one with Kev's league.
When you guys drafted at Hobra, I remember I was sitting there and I
that.
drafted Ortiz's whole
I
team.
remember that.
Yeah.
Damian Pierce was his RB1.
Is that league happening?
I don't know.
No.
Kev's league.
What was it called?
Kev's league.
It was
Cream
the Cream
Pisons.
Pisons.
The
The Cream Pisons.
Yeah.
Such a stupid name. All right, we'll move on to the next team, and that's the New England Patriots. And I think it's pretty obvious who I'm going to pick. It's been the whole off season for me. I've just been gassing him up. He's on my dynasty team. It's Ramondre Stevenson. He's currently going as the RB10, 27.4 ADP, which is the turn of the 2-3 turn, which is crazy to me because another guy that honestly, if they don't sign anyone, I could see him finishing as a top 3 running back in fantasy football. He's got the receiving skills. There's nothing he can't do.
They might sign Lenny though.
Yeah, I'm not that concerned, to be honest with you. I'm really not.
So if he does sign there, it doesn't lower his ranking for you at all.
I have him as the RB7. Maybe he moves to the RB8, RB9. But like, I'd still be willing to take him at even the 1-2 turn. Like, I'd be down to take him at the start of the 2nd round as well. That's just my personal opinion. So I have Ramondre Stevenson.
I picked him too.
Nice.
So wait, how come some players
Let's go.
you like say that you've been talking them up all off season, so you're not picking them, but you picked him?
So
What's your?
I have nobody else on this team that I want to fucking draft, except for maybe Juju.
Juju,
maybe Juju.
Yeah, Juju is my other guy that I was thinking about.
And I should mention his name, Mike Gesicki. I think Mike Gesicki can have a big season if they actually play him the way he should be played. Don't make him a blocking tight end, make him a receiver. I think Mike Gesicki has potential there too, but that's about it.
I had Ramondre too.
Yeah,
let's go.
So
clean sweep.
That was our first clean sweep of the video.
No, was
it?
Yeah.
Wow,
first clean sweep of the video. All right, next up, the New York Jets. Shout out Dean, man. Hope you're watching. Anyways, I picked Aaron Rodgers, currently going as the QB14, 110.8 ADP. He's motivated. He's happy. We know what Aaron Rodgers can do. He's a top 5 quarterback if he's healthy and motivated, and he's going to win. He might win MVP again this year. Who knows? So
I'm going to beat this pick into the ground, but I'm going with Alan Lazard. Check out any other fantasy video, and you'll see why I like Alan Lazard, especially now if Aaron Rodgers is happy. It's over.
He's happy.
He is happy.
Oh, I took Alan Lazard also. He's getting drafted as the 51st receiver. ADP
There's a 119, I'm pretty sure.
120.
Oh, it was close enough.
But yeah, he's him and Aaron Rodgers are familiar with each other on the field, so I think they obviously have chemistry already. I think he's gonna have a good season.
I want Michael Carter being drafted as a running back 71. I just think if they don't sign Dalvin, you're getting the handcuff. The last pick of your draft, you're getting the handcuff to a running back who's coming off a pretty serious injury. So why the hell not?
Okay. So we'll go on to the AFC South. And the first team that we're talking about, the Houston Texans. Trunks, why don't you get us started off with the Houston Texans?
What?
Go ahead. Start us
I
off.
say it like
off.
that. All right. I took Dalton Schultz. His ADP is 107, and he's getting drafted as the 10 and 11. So if you're waiting on a quarterback, you can get him pretty late in your draft. And he's
You're waiting on a quarterback. You could get Dalton Schultz.
tight end.
later
Tight
in
end.
the draft.
You know what I meant?
It's a great idea.
If you're
Trunks.
waiting on a tight
I'll
end,
wait on a quarterback and draft
Shut
Dalton Schultz.
if you're waiting on a tight end for later on in the draft, you should draft Dalton Schultz because they really don't have weapons over there in Houston, and Dalton Schultz is probably going to be the number one target.
He might win the quarterback job too, to be honest.
He might win the quarterback job.
quarterback job.
Yeah, you might.
To be entirely honest.
Shut up, I wasn't thinking. I was just talking.
All right, Chris, who do you got?
I have Nico Collins.
Same here.
Going as
Wow.
a wide receiver 63. I don't want to draft him, but I had to pick someone.
we had to do it for all 32 teams. So Nick, I have the same reason why. I mean,
I actually
I think
love
He's
Nico
going in the
Collins.
same range as Romeo Dubes, as Jonathan Mingo, a little bit. Darnell Mooney's going a little bit before him. I'd just rather draft other guys in that range, but there's no one on the Texans I want to draft.
I like Dalton Schultz too, though.
I chose Dalton Schultz was a good one, safety blanket for a rookie QB. I just think with Nico Collins finally having a QB that could throw the football, it's going to help him a lot. Going from Davis Mills to CJ Stroud, just
So
still the Texans. at the
yeah,
end of the day.
just a couple things. I get what you guys are saying with the whole Nico Collins thing, but I genuinely think Nico Collins is one of my favorite late round targets, and I think he's a guy that if you have the opportunity to go get in a dynasty league, try to get him as a throw-in. I think he's absolutely worth the potential, and the boom potential here is unbelievable. By the way, I said the catch rate, and it's been one of my favorite stats to throw out today.
Oh, yeah.
I'll give you guys another chance to guess
2.
catch rate.
2.
For Nico Collins?
Yes. His percentage of targets that were catchable last season.
54 point. No, I said 54. 56.
Elijah Moore was 54.5.
56.3.
Nope. Lower.
52.4.
Lower.
Wow.
47.
Up.
49.3.
50% on the money.
Wow.
the money. 50% of his passes
He
were
was
catchable.
he was literally doing a coin flip every time the ball was being thrown.
were
to him.
catchable. Davis Mills was one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL
Of all
last year.
time.
And throughout the offseason so far, Nico Collins has been CJ Stroud's number one target. He's 6'4". He has the physical profile of a number one. And by the way, he had a 66.7 contested catch rate last season, which is top 3 in the NFL.
It's crazy how
this
it's
past
higher
year.
than his.
Whenever he had a
17 points
chance,
higher.
whenever he had a chance, even if a guy was all over him,
He was mostly.
he was probably going to catch it.
Yeah.
All over.
But he just didn't get a chance. So I think there's a good chance that if your quarterback can be relatively accurate with Nico Collins, he can have a productive fantasy season. That's that.
Who is Nico Evans? I looked up the name Nico on Sleeper, and there was 2 people. It was Nico Collins and Nico Evans. And Nico Evans doesn't have a picture. He's just Nico Evans.
All right. So the next team, the
He's on a hot
Indianapolis
team.
Colts.
His ADP is a 999. I'm sorry.
The next team is the Indianapolis Colts Ortiz. Who do you got, if anybody?
The Colts, I have a kind of cop-out answer here, but Anthony Richardson.
I picked this. If I had to pick,
If I had to
would
pick one, it
I
was
also
Anthony Richardson. I mean,
agree.
we talk about him all the time. It's just the boom bust potential. Him going, I think he was QB 22. I could be completely
I think
wrong.
you're
I'm
wrong.
guessing.
He's QB 12.
He's QB 12.
Yeah.
Big difference.
Yeah, there's a
Going
big
as
dip.
QB 12.
As I said, it was not that much of an educated guess, but I just think the boom bust potential with Anthony Richardson is just a good spot to draft him at. His ADP is at 103. Why not?
Yeah,
I also have Anthony Richardson. That was the guy I was talking about before. But
that makes sense.
if I draft Anthony
That'd be
Richardson
the quarterback.
in the next round, the very next round, back to back, I'm drafting either Geno Smith, Aaron Rodgers, or Jared Goff, whoever's there.
I think that's fair.
Fair.
Yeah, if I had to pick, it's Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
Jonathan Taylor, I liked his ADP if I knew he was playing, but now I don't even know if he's going to play, so I
He'll do
don't
it.
want
He'll play.
Jonathan Taylor.
He's trustworthy.
But I put in my notes, I said I'm bailing on this team entirely. I don't want anyone. So, yeah. Trunks, who'd you pick?
I said Anthony Richardson.
Oh, yeah. We all picked Anthony Richardson, I guess.
Woot,
Yep.
woot.
Another clean sweep.
Let's get it.
Next up, Jacksonville Jaguars. Chris, why don't you get us started for the Jags?
I have Evan Ingram. He's going as the tight end 8, but there's like a gap between the tight ends above him, Darren Waller and Dallas Goedert. They're going in like the middle of the 6th round. Evan Ingram goes in like the 8th round. So you're getting him at more of a value, and I think he could be just as good as those guys. So
Even
Well,
better.
I don't-
I also had a Ingram.
I don't really like anyone though on the Jaguars either. I'm not really feeling their ADPs.
I don't either, but I put Calvin Ridley. He's getting drafted as the 18th receiver. ADP is 40. He's gonna be the number 1 receiver probably. He hasn't played football in a year and a half, so that's a little something
Scary.
to worry about. But that could also be a good thing. He hasn't played football in a year and a half. His body's rested. Might have a really good season.
Yeah, I
you
don't
know,
think
he's
he
the guy.
really-
He became the number 1 in Atlanta over Julio Jones. Like, he has potential to be a really good receiver this season.
He didn't become the one over Julio Jones. It was I don't know if you could say that. I don't know if you could say that. Julio was still that guy back when Ridley was balling out over there. But I actually picked Christian Kirk. I didn't like anyone on this team, but if I was forced to pick one, I'm taking Christian Kirk because he's ranked as the wide receiver 32 with a 74.8 ADP, and he was Trevor Lawrence's number 1 last year. And Calvin Ridley is going to have to get back into football in the regular season and stuff like that. So I think Christian Kirk will get targeted early and often. But yeah, that was kind of just a forced pick. I didn't really have anyone else there. All right, and the final team in the
It's the final
AFC
division.
South.
Oh,
No,
did we?
final
No,
team
we
in
did
the
them all.
AFC
No, we
South. We
didn't.
did not do
we
them all.
I'm sorry.
Shout out Tennessee. The Tennessee Titans. Well, I picked Derrick Henry. He's
Me
currently going as the RB7 in the 2nd round, which doesn't make much sense to me because the opportunity's still there. He's still that guy, and it's just that simple.
I took Derrick Henry also.
It's quite simple.
Speaking of
Henry, also
Speaking of that guy, I went with DeAndre Hopkins.
Okay.
Going as the it's a lot of people in front of him, I'm not counting. But his ADP is at a 47, and we know D Hop could be a top end wide receiver in the NFL.
Love that.
Who's getting a phone
Who's
call?
my aunt? All right, yeah, Derrick Henry. Nice. Okay, next up, let's see. What's the final division? The AFC West.
Yes, sir.
The first team, the Denver Broncos. What do you start us off?
I have Russell Wilson for my player here. I didn't really like many of the ADPs for the Broncos, but you have where is he?
Kind of like all of them.
Oh, well, sorry, I'm not the same person.
No, it's okay.
Russell Wilson's going. His ADP is at QB 136, and there is no possible way he can be worse than last year. I think he's better than the QBs that are ahead of him at times. I think he can be better, and I think Russell Wilson.
I agree. I think he's gonna have a bounce back season. Gonna be better in a better system this year with new coaching staff and all that. I think he's gonna throw for more touchdowns than bathrooms. I think he's gonna have a bounce back year, and where you can draft him, I think it's worth the pick.
I actually like all the ADPs for the Broncos for the most part. That includes Samaje Perine. That includes Javonte Williams. I picked Cortland Sutton because I've been picking Cortland Sutton, and I'm going to continue to pick Cortland Sutton. But I also love Greg Dulcich's ADP. I don't know. I like all the Broncos in general. Russell Wilson too. I agree.
Yeah, I have Greg Dulcich. I just think if you are the type of guy who likes to wait on tight end, you draft him probably in like the 11th round. I think he was really solid as a rookie, and you probably expect his role to increase. So,
yeah, I actually we were on the Titans before. I like a lot of the Titans ADPs actually, like Treylon Burks included, and then Chiggy obviously as well. So yeah, it's sleeper tight ends there. All right, next up, the Las Vegas Raiders. Chris, you want to get us started off? Who'd you got?
Hunter Renfro.
Same.
I also went with Hunter Renfro.
He's a guy who you don't even need to draft. He's last pick in the draft. Was what, a top 10 wide receiver 2 years ago, something like that.
His ADP is literally not even in the first 16 rounds.
Yeah, he had a down year last year, but there should be targets there with Darren Waller gone. So why not take a shot on a guy like Hunter Renfro?
I picked Devontae Adams. I think currently going as the wide receiver 8 is kind of crazy for a guy that's consistently been a top 5 fantasy wide receiver throughout his career. Yeah, I still think the targets are going to be there. Jimmy Garoppolo is able to keep a guy afloat like that in fantasy football. So I don't know. Devontae Adams, I think wide receiver 8, middle of the second round is kind of silly for a guy of that talent. So it is silly. It's very silly. Devontae Adams is going to make that look stupid.
Such silly goosery.
All right, next up, the Los Angeles Chargers. Trunks, go ahead.
I didn't like anyone's ADP on this team, but if I'm going to pick someone, I'll probably pick Justin Herbert, just because I like going quarterback early, quarterback or tight end, one or the other. I'd probably take Justin Herbert.
This is the only team I didn't pick anyone.
Yeah.
I'm not drafting any of these guys.
I learned my lesson drafting Chargers for our playoff thing. So I just went with Gerald Everett because he seems like a cool guy.
He's good at football. I picked Keenan Allen. If I had to pick a guy, I'm picking Keenan Allen, and I'd be okay with picking Keenan Allen. It's just, especially being that he's going in the 4th round and Justin Herbert hyper targets him when he's healthy. It's just, am I guaranteeing that he's healthy? And that seems to be a problem with every Charger, if we're being honest. Are they healthy?
Except Gerald Everett. He's always there.
Let's go with Gerald Everett, man. But yeah, the Chargers are tough. I picked Keenan Allen, but it was kind of a forceful pick. So, and the last team saved the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs for last. And I picked Rashee Rice, currently going as the 59th wide receiver on the board and 137.6 ADP. I don't know if any receiver is really going to jump out in the Kansas City Chiefs offense because they kind of just spread the ball around there a bunch. And Travis Kelce is that guy. So I just figure I'd bet on the talent of Rashee Rice, especially coming out of SMU. He was very productive. So yeah, if I'm going to bet on one receiver in that offense, I'm going to bet on Rashee Rice.
I mean, we see what physical receivers can do in their offense, and he's not the fastest, but he is one of the most physical receivers in the NFL currently. Obviously still a rookie, but coming in at, I think, with like a 42-inch vertical, standing at like 6'2", he's a big boy.
Yeah.
So I don't think get the job done, I think, with Pat Mahomes.
I took Travis Kelce. He's getting drafted as the 5th player off the board, and I'd argue that I would take him as high as 3. Honestly, having that positional advantage is so big in fantasy football. If you have someone that's miles ahead of anyone else at a position, you're going to have a good chance of winning your league. I think Travis Kelce's worth the pick that high.
I want Jerick McKinnon. He's going as the running back 42. He was the running back 20 last year. Yeah, Isaiah Pacheco might take a step forward, but Jerick McKinnon's going to be involved in the passing game. So he's a guy who I would be fine starting when my running backs have bye weeks and stuff of that nature.
Yeah, and that's every single team in the NFL and one player 32. That we would draft.
Nice.
So that was fun. That was a lot of fantasy football.
See you later.
Picks there. That's intriguing. Oh yeah, you have work to get on going to. The meat. Fuck you.
Yeah. You took this seat for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah. It was a fun, long time.
It definitely took a while. But yeah, hopefully we help you guys win your fantasy football drafts, unless you're in fantasy football leagues with us. That's the only time that you should not be winning them. But yeah, on to the next one. So what else we got? I believe we have a little TikTok segment.
Who's going first?
You could do yours first.
All right. So, Wavelength fantasy football edition. So basically, I'm gonna have a number. I'm gonna show the camera, and one of you is gonna also know the number, and the other person is going to have to give us categories, and we're gonna say a player that corresponds with
Yeah, I got
that
it.
number. I don't know
Is
if
that
you
the-
understand.
That the game we played?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Don't even show the camera the number. Let them play along.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, allow them to
Sure.
play along with us.
So do we want to do it as just a player in a tier, or where we're gonna draft that player? Like 1 to 10, how likely are we to draft a player based on their ADP? You want to do that maybe? And then we pick the positions.
It don't matter.
Pick the positions and just say it. It's not that deep.
All right, bet.
Yeah, pick
Just
the
pick a.
positions.
If I say 7, give me a wide receiver that you
All right.
think of the number 7.
That's fine. All right, who wants to go first?
I'll go.
Close your eyes.
Okay, my eyes are closed.
Okay.
You should
Okay.
say it. Can I open? Okay, I open. Can you say for the TikTok like the number is, and then I'm gonna have it
Yeah.
pop up on the screen.
Did you get the number?
Yeah.
Okay.
But like, so I have to now give a receiver that represents.
So he's gonna
next
give
question.
us a position, and we're gonna say a person that represents that number.
Okay, got it.
The number is
All right, Trunks, give me a fantasy running back.
fantasy running back. I'm gonna go with Joe Mixon.
Okay. So
I ask
10,
him.
10 is like the high end of the spectrum, right? Like good. Okay. Give me a fantasy tight end.
TJ Hawkinson.
Want
Okay.
2 each, maybe.
Oh yeah,
We
can
go
do
all for
2 each.
positions.
All right. Trunks, give me a fantasy quarterback. I'm getting the vibes of like a 7 right now, a 6, 7, 8. Why was 6 afraid of 7? If it's 7, 8, 9.
Go ahead.
Justin Herbert.
Okay. All right, now give me
And
a,
then
a
wide
wide
receiver.
receiver.
Calvin Ridley.
Okay. So we got Justin Herbert, Joe Mixon, Calvin Ridley, and TJ Hawkinson. The number is 7.
Yes.
The number was
All
7.
on the money. Yeah.
Nice.
There it
Let's
is.
go.
All right.
Yeah,
I'll go
yeah.
next.
All right.
Okay.
All right, we got it. All right. The number is
Chris, quarterback.
Sam Howell.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know where to cut it. I'm at a 10 right now. Shit. All right, for you, I don't know. All right. Receiver.
This is fucking hard. Chase Claypool.
I'm getting a 3 or a 4. I'm gonna go 4 right now. Give me a tight end.
Logan Thomas. Logan Thomas.
I think I'm at the 3 at the moment. All right. Give me a running back. Give me a running back.
Hold on. Hold on. Boston Scott.
Oh, not Boston Scott. I'm between 2 and 3. I'm going 3.
Fuck,
It was
Trunks.
2.
It was 2.
Damn.
Oh my
right.
god. All right. Now I'm up. Go
You're
ahead.
up.
You got it?
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Hit him with the
The number is
nice. All right.
hit me with a tight end, Trunks.
Tight end. Zach Ertz.
Okay. Quarterback.
Jared Goff.
Zach Ertz one fucked me up, dude. That's a bad one.
I don't think it is.
I'm leaning 5 or maybe 6.
Mhm.
Probably 5. But all right, wide receiver.
Adam Thielen.
Okay, and running back.
Oh man, I'm blanking.
I think I'm leaning 5. This might seal it.
James Cook.
It's not 6 because Zach Ertz. That's too fucking high for Zach Ertz. It can't be 4 because James Cook, but Adam Thielen's. I'm going 5.
It was 5.
Cool.
Was 5. Zach Ertz and Adam Thielen were not good picks.
They were
No.
not. That was really bad.
I mean, you said after the first 2, 5, and that was the number.
Yeah, but I was leaning more. with
I
Chris's
tried
pick.
to
Balance it
make
out.
mine higher.
Yes.
Yeah, balance it
It
out.
did balance it out, honestly. James Cook had me leaning 6, but you were making me
fair.
lean 4. All right, that was fun.
All right.
And then we have one more thing.
Guess this NFL team based on their
Based on their fuck.
Guess this NFL team based on their Guess this NFL team based on their starting defenses Madden 24 ratings. All right.
Boom.
So this team.
You're not getting it. You have no shot. You're done.
I'm doing it.
I
So
was
this
2 for 2, so.
this team has an 86 overall defensive tackle. Okay.
Yep.
They have a 70 overall right end.
Got it. It's looking like a great team right now.
And again, this is according to Madden. They have a 66 overall left end.
Holy fuck.
Okay.
I think I have the team already.
Their middle linebacker is an 85. Their right outside linebacker is a 76. Their left outside linebacker is an 88. You guys are with me?
Yeah, this does me no favors because
All
I
right.
don't know if it's a 3-4 or 4-3.
I didn't know which was which, so I'm just doing like a nickel package.
Okay.
I did one of every position and then 3 corners.
Okay.
So the cornerback 1's a 95. The cornerback 2 is an 81. And the cornerback 3 is a 76. Then the strong safety is a 76. And the free safety is a 74.
Oh my god. Damn. CB 195. All right. I'm trying to think of teams that have the best corners in the league. I was originally leaning Falcons, but it's not the Falcons. Damn, this one's tough. 86 defensive tackle. It can't be I was thinking Bills for a little while, but it's just not the Bills.
So I'm just being honest. I'm just going off of the cornerback here. I'm gonna go with the Packers.
It is indeed the
Good
Packers.
fucking call, Trunks.
I was thinking
Nice.
Jair Alexander.
Nice.
Wow.
All right. We'll do one more.
Wow,
Good shit.
I'm proud of myself.
I
That
had
was
no
good, that
shot
was
at
good.
that one. I wasn't even in the ballpark right there. That's just so. The left outside linebacker is Devontae Campbell.
No, he was listed as a middle linebacker.
He's an 85.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then the
Left outside is Rashawn Gary.
yeah.
Kenny Clark, obviously the defensive tackle.
Yeah.
Damn.
All right.
Good shit.
Thank you.
All right. So the next team, they have a 71 overall defensive tackle. They have an 86 overall right end and a 79 overall left end. Their middle linebacker is an 80. Their right outside linebacker is an 83. And their left outside linebacker is a 79. You guys are with me?
Yep.
All right. Cornerback one is a 97. Cornerback 2 is an 84. And cornerback 3 is a 76. And then the free safety is an 84 and the strong safety is a 79.
I'm leaning Dolphins.
It is the Dolphins.
Yay.
That's just a criminally underrated Christian Wilkins, by the way. That's
is.
really bad.
And that he's at right end. It's kind of
Yes.
weird. He should
Yeah.
be a tackle, but
Yeah.
that end's weird.
I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, I was leaning Dolphins. Okay, cool. Yay.
All
Let's
right.
go.
We did it.
All right, so that's everything, guys. Well, before we close this thing out, big shout out to our sponsors over at SeatGeek. SeatGeek takes all the complications out of buying tickets as they grade each ticket on a scale of 1 to 10, with green being a good deal and red being a bad deal. Use our code BallGamePod for $20 off your first purchase with SeatGeek. Again, that is BallGamePod for $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. Thank you so much to everyone over at SeatGeek. Appreciate you guys for partnering up with us. All right. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please be sure to leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, all that good stuff. Go check out some old videos. And with that,
Ball game.